How's everyone doing tonight? Hello, country girl. How's it going? May God bless you all tonight. I'm surviving. You know how it is. So, where y'all from? Oh, yeah. New York and Tennessee. I'm in Kentucky. I'm literally not far from Tennessee. I'm literally like 20 minutes from the state line. I appreciate the likes, you guys. I appreciate all the help. So what do you guys think about the war in the Middle East? Come on, y'all chat with me. Hello, Miss Lisa. Hey, James. Hope all is well tonight with everybody. May God bless you all. Hmm. Yeah, I think I think we all are blessed in our own ways, you know. I really do. You know, I think I really think, you know, God works in mysterious ways. I really do. I so believe that. Uh, you know, we all don't. We all don't actually look and see how lucky we really are, you know. And yeah, the world, it's getting so bad to where like all the good-hearted people, man, is just, you know, they're becoming very rare to find. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, we got to walk up to the lake and swim a little bit. That's really, you know, it's about all we really got to do. Um, yeah, Hey, Charlie. Yeah, I just thought I would get on and just chat with everybody for a little bit. You know, check in and see how life was treating everybody. Yeah, it's been a... What is it, my girl? Come here. What?
Yeah, you got a rope, or no, it's that rope.
Yeah.
You're safe. You're so cry. Where you going? Alright.
Unfortunately, you know, I really do. I truly believe in everything the Lord does. I mean, and everything I do, I always do in the guidance of, you know, being a Christian. You know, I've just been praying hard that, you know, God help me figure out the depression, man. It's just been unbearable lately, you know. It's been pretty tough. Yeah. You know, I just really want to be able to get big enough to help people, you know. I know, as long as I keep hacking at it, I'll get there, you know. Yeah, they up my medicine, you know, my depression medicine and stuff. It's been yeah.
Dad, you want to wash the dish? There's about a cup left.
No, my boy. You can have it. Thank you, though. Yeah, I just think, you know, sometimes we get overwhelmed in life and like, um, you know, we forget that we've got the biggest thing and the greatest thing in the world with us, and that's you know, God's love and mercy. And you know, sometimes you know, the lives that we live, you know, and things is not always easy. Especially, you know, depression and things, you know, it makes it even harder. But as long as we continue praying and believing, you know, God will help us and deliver us through whatever struggles that we have. And you know, one day I know I'm going to look back and be like, yeah, you know, even though I had struggles, you know, God helped me through it. You know, I was thinking today, like literally, if he was Jesus being born, now think about this. You know, Jesus could have been born any way that he chose. But you know, imagine it being a human, and you know, humans attend, you know, like us humans, we always focus on, you know, like great, you know, entrances and things. But you know, God didn't do that. Jesus didn't. You know, only a few barnyard animals got to witness the entrance of a king, man. And it was, you know, I feel sorry for the people in the motel while Jesus was being born in a manger. You know, it was just a few barnyard animals got to witness it, and Mary and Joseph, you know. I know, you know, I can remember so many times that God helped me through things that I didn't think I'd ever get through, you know. And I always thought, you know, I don't know why, you know, God helped me through the things that he did, but he did, you know. And I often, you know, would always ask, you know, why me? You know, why protect somebody like me? And growing up, as a kid, you know, God protected me a lot. And I'm very thankful that he did, you know. That's the thing about, you know, turning to him, you know, his love and mercy really don't cost anything. Just believing and having faith. You know, I just wonder. What it's like whenever we don't have to have any earthly problems like depression and anxiety and things like that. You know, if somebody like me is lucky enough to make it to heaven, you know.
K-Bug. Come in here, Susie. No, come here.
Mommy, come and watch me in the ribbon.
I'm not going in there.
Oh, yeah.
You can come in here. Come over here, come in. Just go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Jeannie. How's it going tonight? May God bless you, my friend. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the thing, you know, we shouldn't have to just go to church to see a lot of compassion and, you know, joy with others. Like, that should be our everyday motivation, you know. That should come naturally to everyone every single day. You know, I heard a guy one time say in a song that the world is getting to where nobody knows anything about themselves because they're always worried about everybody else. And, you know, whether people want to label me, whatever they want to label me. What was that? Did Amy go down there? Unks.
Yeah, sure I did.
But, yeah, you know, everybody's always worried about everybody else. Well, at the end of the day, all they should really be focusing on is learning what they can do by spreading love and compassion into the world instead of, you know, people nowadays, like, literally, if they see one person receive a blessing, they automatically get jealous and all, you know, automatically start spreading hatred towards others. But really, it shouldn't really cost anything to spread love and joy into the world. In fact, I've always said that unused positivity is negativity, you know? It doesn't cost anything to have love and compassion towards somebody. You know? I know one day, I want to look back and say, you know, I was somebody that cared, you know?
Can I spin it?
You know, caring for others really don't cost a thing. It really doesn't.
I got the same one,
You know, we're living in times now to where, you know, the wars are becoming, you know, at the end days, it said there would be wars and rumors of wars. The Euphrates River would dry up, which you know, things is really coming to pass, you know. When I was a teenager, you know, I never really thought of things of, you know, the Bible fulfilling itself the way that it is. But it really is. It's fulfilling itself more and more every day. And, you know, he forewarned us to pay attention to the skies. And you know, we're all not perfect, you know. Nobody on this planet's ever perfect. But I don't see anything wrong with trying to be as perfect as we can. You know, there's no such thing as a perfect human being, and they never will be. There's only one person that was perfect, and that was Jesus. That ever walked the earth, you know. I just, you know, I know I want to be the, you know, best human being I can be. I'm always going to be the first in line to offer help to others. Even if I can't help them, I still try, you know. And I think the world is losing the fundamental of, you know, united we stand and divided we fall. You know, it really doesn't cost anything to spread positivity. And this world is becoming to where negativity is already 10 miles down the road in front of that person. Until, you know, people like us band together and, you know, rise up and show the world that we can still spread love and positivity in a positive way and compassion. And, you know, the world's going to continue to be negative. You know, sometimes it's the effort that matters. It's not the outcome. Sometimes it's the effort that's what matters the most, you know? I think the world is losing what the phrase, what somebody is true at heart. I think the world's losing a lot of that. They're losing a lot of, you know, understanding people that's down to earth. And, you know, it's always filled with people that, you know, people always think that they'll be better than you, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're not. You know. Because let's just say if we played basketball, you know, and I was a better basketball player than you, you may pick up a football, can throw one 100 yards farther than I can. You may be a better football player, but that doesn't mean that we're any better of a human being than any other human on the planet, you know. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. And I honestly believe we all should try to spread more love and compassion out into the world. Because one day we might not get the chance to. You know, if we could take, you know, if we could change 1% of the greed that's on this planet, doesn't matter if it's 1%, we actually made a change. Thank you for hanging in, Lisa. You know, you know, it's just the, you know, the world's becoming, if you look back from the time, so anybody here that can look back whenever, you know, they was 10 to 12 to 14-year-old to now, I guarantee you 95% of the people on this planet will say that it's different. The world's different. When you feel, it's like this, if you hang out with a bunch of people that is filled, their hearts filled full of hate and greed, chances are, you know, some of that's going to reflect onto us. And it's up to us to make the difference. It really is. You know, like, you know, the protests and things, like, I believe that people should exercise their right to, you know, peacefully protest and things, but, you know, I don't think it should get to the point to where people are just randomly burning down buildings and breaking into stores and looting everything in it and everything. That's just, that's not peacefully to me. I mean, but you know, if you put red ants and black ants in a jar together, they'll survive and work together until somebody shakes the jar. Then they'll go to killing one another. And, you know, there's always somebody right now that's always trying to shake the jar for us. But it takes us to change that. Nobody else will. Nobody's going to change it for us. Until we learn to band together and spread love and positivity into the world, it's going to become filled with more and more negativity, because that's all that's put in front of you on the TV, everything.
Maybe pass around their plate. Okay.
Yeah, you guys, it's kind of slow. I just kind of slow tonight. I just thought I'd get on and just talk a little bit and check in on everybody. I pray that she lands there safely, my friend, and everything goes okay, and God watches over her flight and stuff. You know, with all the wars and stuff that's going on right now, you don't know when something's going to fly through our sky, you know, from another country. You know, I pray that the men and women that's out there fighting for our country, you know, I pray that you know what I really think separates me from everybody else is I honestly believe that, you know, what little, if I could give everything of mine away, well, which I don't have anything right now because we've had to rebuild 3 times, but even if I could give everything away to put more love and positivity in the world, I would do it open-heartedly and gladly to do it. And, you know, that's like all the people that scrolls by here. They just scroll by and they don't even take the time to know you before they start casting out judgment upon you. But if people would quit judging so much and judging others so much, they would really realize, you know, I'm a really true down-to-earth person at heart, and you know, nowadays it's hard to open up to the world because when you do, automatically people looks at it as a weakness. But the one thing I always say about that is it is not weak to value life. Even the Bible says that there's no greater love than a man lay down his life for another. Yeah. And I know whenever God, with God's help, you know, I get out of the struggle and everything, God's already put it on my heart that anybody that's ever helped me out of the struggle, you know, they're gonna be blessed as much as me because God already put it in my heart to do it. Did you know, literally, that every one of us sitting here right now, if we all donated $1 to somebody, just $1, just $1, we all could become rich. And you know, being rich doesn't mean money either. You could be rich in love, you could be rich with compassion. And you know, it's really true. Is we all could really do better, but we choose not to. And whose fault is that? It's ours. It's not nobody else's fault, you know, it's ours. But it doesn't cost nothing to spread love and compassion into the world. Stop being stop being worried about others, and worry, focus more on yourself. I appreciate that, Gabe. May God bless you, my friend. See, it's not hard to spread love and compassion. Like, literally, it's something as simple. It doesn't even have to be anything like that, Rose, or whatever. A simple hello, or how you doing, or something like that, It's like the guy that wanted to end everything and rode a bus for 2 hours over to the bridge, and whenever he told his story, he said all he wanted was just somebody that asked if he was okay, and like literally he was in a bad situation where he like cried for 2 hours and everything on the way there, and then got brave enough to jump. And on the way down, he said he thought of his dad and he didn't want to die. But whenever he hit the water, it had broke his back in like 3 places or whatever, and he couldn't swim. But every time he would sink, he would feel something push him back up. No, it was a sea lion or something like that. And but yes, you're right, it was a hand of Jesus or whatever. How anybody wants to call it, Jesus, God, but yeah, he would get to the point to where he couldn't swim, to where he couldn't do no more, and then that whatever creature it was would push him back to the top or whatever, and they finally got him out or whatever, and he spent quite a while in the hospital and things. But yeah, and he was the only one that ever jumped off the bridge and actually lived. And the moral of that is like, if one person on that bus would have showed him love and compassion and caring and everything, they could have changed that. And a lot of people really don't understand the power that you have using positivity and negativity, because you have the ability to do positive things in this life, and you have the ability to do negative things. But we really do. Just showing love and compassion alone, you have the ability to maybe save somebody's life. And the most important thing, you're right, Rebecca, sometimes all we need to do is plant the seed. But so many people have failed to do that. They really do. Jesus, that's true. It's so true. Like, literally. And the thing is, you know, with Jesus, like, you know, all these top creators on here, you know, they, you know, trick people to do this, trick people to do that. And the thing is with Jesus, me, you, anybody that believes, all of us are literally one answered prayer away from a blessing so big that, you know, it would be a life-changing blessing, you know. And all it takes is, really think about that, it's just one answered prayer. That's all it takes. It's just one answered prayer. So in my heart, I believe prayers are worth more. I honestly believe in my heart a prayer is worth more. It's worth so much more. You know? You know, for me, I love to prove Jesus exists. I love to prove God exists. You know, and the thing is whenever I do prove His existence and people see Him, you know, send a blessing some way, I've had people get mad, you know, create awareness pages against me, all kinds of stuff. But the truth is all they got to do is be a believer, you know. The Bible says, "Ask and you shall receive." And you know, I've listened to stories of people, you know, brag about blessing this person or brag about blessing this person. That's something else as Christians that we're not really supposed to do, is brag about our blessings. We're only allowed to talk about that if God allows us to. And God says, if you boast your blessings, boast about blessings to others, that's what your reward will be. It'll be no greater than that. What, my girl?
Can you show them a flower?
Did you make a flower?
Yeah. Show it to them.
She took and got one of those puppy pads out and made a flower. Well, my background won't let me show it, but I'll take a picture of it and put it on there for you. I love you.
Love you too.
You know you're special, right? But yeah, we all have the ability to spread positivity, but we don't. Oh, I definitely will. I'll check it out for real. You know, you know, people, I've learned through the years, like whenever you go through a major persecution from others, that's how you know you're getting close to God's blessing. You know, Todd. That's how I know that's how we know we're close. What's up, Todd? But you know, the world is getting so greedy that literally, you see, that's why, you know, the people that hate my way of doing things, and you know, is because they can't win the argument whenever God does come through, you know. And you know, since all the stuff that me and my family's been through, and all the struggle, trying to get out of it, I went through more persecution through human beings than anything. And every day of our life we're going to be judged for the things, even if we think it's right. Even if we do 1,000 things right, we're going to be judged by others by one thing that they don't think is right, even though you know it's right, because God put you there to do it. And one day, I think the world is eventually going to have to wake up and see that. Yep, judge not, yet you be judged. And it also says that a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. We can pretend to be this person or this person or this person, but you can't fool God or His people, because you'll be known by the fruits that you bear unto this world. And in other words, you may say that I spread positivity all the time, but everybody around you could see you not spreading positivity all the time. So the things you do, the actions you do, and everything, that's the fruits that you bear upon the world. Like even showing love and compassion, things like that. That's bearing good fruit. Judging people, attacking people's personal feelings, things like that. That is bad fruit into the world. So, I could say that I want to spread positivity all I want. But I'll be known by the fruits that I bear. Literally. I'll be known by everybody around me that actually see me try to spread positivity and more love and compassion and things like that. And the main important thing is we're not guaranteed tomorrow. None of us is. But what if tomorrow never come for some of us? I mean, I don't want to be the guy that goes to my judgment and God says, depart from me, I'm a worker of iniquity. You're a worker of iniquity. I never knew you. And he says, well, didn't I say to you, deny my brother or deny thy sister, you deny me also. That's why, if anybody asks me for anything, ask me for help, time, a conversation, it doesn't matter. I'm always there to try to do what people ask. And that don't mean let people abuse you or run over you. There's a thin line there. But, I don't want God to look at me and say, well, I come to you, I sent so-and-so to you, and they needed a blessing and you chose not. What if let's just say, the next person you deny in your life, Jesus is in their heart. Are you not, literally think about it, you're denying Jesus also. I don't want to be that human being that tries to do right and then deny anyone and then make it to my judgment or whatever, and actually had denied somebody and then God denied me because I denied them.
What you calling?
25 here.
Yeah, I need that.
We all have the ability to change and grow and spread love and positivity and joy. But the world's getting to the point to where it makes us not want to. And it's not the world's fault, it's ours. Like I said before, if we could change 1% of the world to show more love and compassion, we've made a difference. But people don't see it like that nowadays. They really don't. You see people, especially like this platform here, it's so bad sometimes. Like, I can go and openly ask God for a blessing. And when God does, the world labels me as something I'm not. They automatically want to slap a label on me. But that's fine and okay, because they can't deny the fact that God didn't come through. He will. All you gotta do is go to Him. You know, God knows the heart, knows your needs. God knows your hearts and your burdens. The thing is we get so impatient that we forget to let God, to do it on His time. My heart and sympathy goes out to you, my friend. I've been there. You know, before I changed and become a Christian, you know, I had so much depression, in which I still have it, but not as bad, you know. God lifted a lot of it off of me. You know, I had days where I wondered why God even allowed me to exist when I was younger, you know. And, you know, I do really want you to know, you know, my heart and prayers go out to you, because I really do know how it feels to lose somebody. It's not easy. It'll never be easy. You know, and it don't never really go away. It never goes away. Yeah, I'm glad to meet everybody, because if I can put a little bit of positivity into the world, then, you know, I've made a difference. Well, God's made a difference. God can, you know, literally, it really is, like, in my situation or whatever, she didn't, she was like the cause of it, because, you see, back then I didn't understand what it was. I'm back working and things now. I didn't understand what it meant for somebody to eat and, you know, vomit it back up. You know, she made herself do it because she was scared of gaining weight. And the acid had eat a hole in the lining in her stomach or whatever, and it spilled out into her stomach or whatever, and it got into her blood system, and she died from it. And I know how that feels, like I really do. And you know, out of a lot of people on here, you know, I'm probably one of the few people that really understands what that is and how hard it is. And it don't never go away, it just gets easier, you know, with time. You know, not a single one of us is bulletproof. And when I say bulletproof, I don't mean by actual bullets. I mean by words, you know, anything negative can hurt somebody. And I think the worst pain you can ever go through is losing somebody. No matter who it is. I mean, whether it be a spouse, a loved one, somebody you grew up with. I mean, you know, losing people is really, really hard. Hey, Carolyn. You know, we all gotta learn to live by the fruits that we bear. Welcome back, Todd. But yeah, the world's gonna label us however the world's gonna label us. What matters the most is what we're labeled under God's eyes. I mean, you know, it just is what it is. Heck yeah, man. At least you're eating, man. That's what matters. You know, you told me you'd been sick or something like that. You were saying you was sick or you'd had a I can't remember correctly. You said you wasn't feeling well and you was sick or something. And I pray all that gets better for you. I really do. Yeah, I probably ain't gonna be up much longer, man. I can't sleep. I just been, you know, depressed and things. It just. Yeah. Yeah, if you take the right medicine, man, it'll get you better. You know, at least God, you know, give doctors the ability to, you know, change sickness. You know, I think there's some sicknesses, you know, or whatever that they can't change, but yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night, man, and try to go spend some time with my kids and just have some fun and play some games and stuff with the kids. And we created our own game that's kind of like charades, but it's something like it, but it's called Pose or Face. We call it Pose or Face, where you have to do a pose or make a face, and then you'll have a judge, and then they have to do it, and whoever gets the closest, gets a point. So yeah, it's a pretty challenging game between all my kids or whatever. They always competing against one another. True Love with Purpose. I love that username. Remain humble, hustle hard, stay ready, and elevate. That's actually nice. And, yeah, you guys, y'all have a good one, and God bless y'all, and just pray it, God to help me out of the situation, and God to send us all blessings. If it be His will, it'll be done. But y'all have a good night, and God bless y'all.